One of my favorite movies of all time is Interstellar, and there's a part in it that says something along the lines of, once you become a parent, you become the ghost of your children's future. And I've been thinking about that today.
Crooked the road, and the one driving. 25 years, I know you've been unraveling. Tell me, why did you run past the dogs and the horses?
As motherhood can seem so repetitive and so mundane, you start to feel this sense of like, am I doing enough? Am I contributing to the world in a meaningful way? Like, things seem so mundane that sometimes it's hard to grasp a sense of purpose.
Underneath our eyes.
I am looking up a recipe to make chicken broth, bone broth, for a soup that we want to make. You cannot find chicken broth here, so you have to make it yourself. I've only made it 1 or 2 other times, and it turned out so delicious. So I'm asking ChatGPT the best way to make it.
We might steal the sun from underneath our eyes.
Augie is sleeping, and Kairos and Tyler went to go get lunch, so I have a couple seconds to journal and read my Bible this morning.
I saw you there, holding out your hand. If I grab it, know that I care, 'cause darkness don't look good. But if you're leaving, know I'll stay beside that telephone line. And tomorrow we might steal the sun from underneath our eyes.
And it sounds crazy when I say it, because you're clearly taking care of little humans and just doing the most for your family. Like, it's very obvious that what you are doing is meaningful, but I think because we live in a world of boss women who are doing everything, they're being CEOs, entrepreneurs, they're running businesses and doing all the things while taking care of a home, and just showing all of that for the world to see what women are capable of. For the women who are just staying at home, sometimes it doesn't feel like you're doing enough. Okay, so here is the broth. I think I'm just going to cover it and let it cook for 2 to 4 hours, it says. And so I was just thinking about that today. I was just really like asking the Lord, like, okay, what is the bit of wisdom that I and other moms out there should hold on to in the middle of those feelings? And I think what I was really encouraged with is to think back to your childhood and think about those people or that person that whenever you went to them, whenever you were around them or you were in their company, they provided you every single time with a sense of peace and comfort and stability. That's what we are creating. If you are a believer, you carry the Holy Spirit within inside of you, and the fruit of the Spirit is peace, you know, and you are providing a sanctuary for your child to grow up in. Welcome to Kairos and Mommy's cooking show! Woo! So right now I am preparing for our language lesson, which feels like we don't have enough time to do right now. Like, our teacher's gonna be here in 10 minutes and I have to prepare our lesson, get everything ready, get all of our pictures and things cut out. I have the broth simmering. It's just so much to do. It feels like there's not a lot of hours in the day to get everything done. I still didn't study our lesson from last week or the week before. So definitely a balancing act of making time and finding time where there really is none.
Kate, avukati Hindustan kate. Mash choi at sok berocht.
Aramo. Или вечер.
Well, it's all just scared of dying. But isn't this a beach? And if I know one thing at all, is I cannot just be a peach. Oh, you come and I'll walk now. So please enjoy the feast. We are weightless like a weightless beast. What is it we don't teach? When we were children, we were hell-bent, or oblivious at least. But now it comes to mind, we are terrified, so we're running out for a verified little breeze. So what of this relief? Some night feels good, now don't it? I don't have a leaving plan. Something's gotta ease your mind.
My first Substack post, I wrote about something that I call my grandma goals, which are basically the goals that I have for my grandmother version of myself, like who I want to be as a grandma. For some reason, my brain has jumped ahead of being a mom, and I think in terms of like being grandparents. So one of those goals is actually having a homestead and knowing how to just grow my own things, knowing how to tend to my own garden and being sustainable for the most part if I needed to be. I am so excited for this. I had a long conversation with my dad last night, who is pretty good actually at gardening and just like growing things in his backyard, which I feel like is a lost art to our generation, my generation. I think we have grown up with the convenience of everything, and why not? Why not go to the grocery store and get things that are already made? Why not go to the grocery store and just buy fruits and vegetables there? Like, it makes sense, and I understand that, and I get it. But for some reason, I have this desire to just get back to roots and basics. I have a problem. It like doesn't sit right in my brain to think about moving on as a generation from knowing how to be self-sustaining, knowing how to take care of basic necessities like eating and, just making things with your own hands without relying on the big corporations to provide that for us, or the big box stores to provide it for us. So with that being said, I need just 5 minutes. Like, my goal today has been just to spend 5 minutes looking over this and seeing what I can start right now, because my dad was telling me that right now for our climate is the time to start planting, while it's, I think what he's saying, while it's cold outside, before the spring. So I'm gonna spend the next 5 minutes reading this. And so you may feel like everything you're doing is repetitive and mundane, but it's actually those repetitions of, a clean house, a structured home your child can look to, depend on, and have a sense of rootedness and stability that without you and without your everyday diligent work, they would not have.
What of this really? Some life feels good now, don't it? Don't have to have a living plan. Nothing's gotta ease your mind. Well, it's all fine, and we're all fine anyway.
The babies are asleep. We're gonna watch Abbott Elementary, and I'm gonna eat some ramen noodles. We are no longer the main characters. In our children's lives, we are the supporting roles. We play a major supporting role, but we are no longer the center of our own worlds. And I think as a mom, you have to wrap your head around that at some point. Build a stable... Okay, I think he went back to sleep, but I want to go to bed too. So, to wrap this up, what am I saying? Someone recently on Instagram said that I was homemaking goals, and I almost spit out my juice. Because if you know me in real life, you know that I come from boxed, canned, processed, fast food, everything. Like, my taste buds prefer that. And so the life that I live right now is night and day different than what I used to live. And if I did not have children, and if I were not investing in my children's future, I don't think I would be as intentional about everything that I do now. But in being intentional, in slowing down our life, in just choosing every single thing for the sake of my children, has just shown me the other side, the beauty in how God has created life to be lived. And motherhood, in its essence, at its core, is about the world you are making for your children and the human that you, with the hand of God, are preparing them to become. And it is the most ancient occupation there is. We are connected to every single generation in time through this occupation. It is one of the most sacred things you can be doing with your time. I can't say that I am just a stay-at-home mom because we do have other responsibilities outside of the home, but for the most part, I am at home with my babies, and it feels like I'm in a never-ending cycle of washing dishes, doing laundry, cleaning the house, cooking dinner, spending time with my family, and then it just repeats. But when I remember everything that I just said, and when I let it sink way down into my core, it feels like a get to. It's something that I get to do. And I think that's all. I think that's all that I have for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you should give it a thumbs up. Actually, I never asked people to do that, but you should like it. If you're not subscribed, you should subscribe. And if you're a mom, would you comment down below, what are some things you are learning in this season that you think other moms could benefit from and be blessed by, including myself? Anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye. So there's a part of this book that's talking about raising livestock, and I'm sitting here like really considering that, like, oh wait, we could actually have some chickens. But then thinking about it, I was like,
You're playing hockey?
you literally raise the chickens to have eggs, which are their babies, and then you go in and you take their babies and eat them. Like, I don't know if I can wrap my brain around that.
I mean, like, what's the difference between that and just going to the store and...
But at least I'm not literally reaching into their nest, taking their babies out with my hands, and cooking them and eating them.
Isaiah 10:14, as one reaches into a nest, so my hand reached for the wealth of the nations. As people gather to bathe in eggs, so I gather all the countries.